Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Hi. Welcome back to Safalta School on YouTube. And I'm Nandini. I'm your English teacher. And like every day, we come up with these small topics for revision. This in the same way we have got today. I have got this topic for revision, which is called reading passage strategies. Now, a lot of you may be thinking that, why reading passage? Reading passage is very easy, or it is the easiest part of the exam. Then why is ma'am making us do it? There's a reason for it, and I will tell you the reason for it. But before that, I would request you to please like, share, and subscribe Safalta's channel on Safalta School's channel on YouTube, and also press the bell icon so that you get to know, as soon as we upload a video or we go live, you get to know about it. So yes, without wasting any more time, let's dive right in. So yes, reading passage strategies. So what is the base? What do we do when we start a reading passage? We read the passage, right? And we read it in detail. We try and understand whatever there is. Sometimes once we finish reading it, we again go back to it and read it once more, right? We do this a lot of times. And in fact, this is what we've been taught to do since we were in class 7th or 8th. That's the time reading comprehensions are introduced to us. So we read the passage, we start, then we start with our questions. Then we read one question, we go back to the passage, try and understand its answer, write the answer. Then we go to the second passage. Then we write, then we look for the answer in the reading passage, and then this pattern keeps continuing. And then we hit a deadlock once we come to the point where questions on vocabulary are asked. Yes, we hit a deadlock there because that's where it takes the most amount of time, and that's also the place where you lose maximum marks, isn't it? So today we are going to look at a strategy so that we hi Anushka, good afternoon. How are you? So today we are going to look at a strategy with which you are going to, take up less time in answering the questions. You're going to take up less time in answering the questions so that you have more time for the rest of the passage, and also more time to attempt the vocabulary related questions also. So the strategy that I'm going to tell you today, the strategy that we are going to understand today will not only help you to, spend lesser time on the reading passage. So more time will help you to obviously do your other sections better. It will also help you with your vocabulary section because you'll get more time. And also this strategy will help you get maximum marks. So it's double fun. Anushka, I'm doing great. How are you? How is your preparation coming along? How's your preparation coming along? Are you nervous for your exams? Okay. So let's begin. Yeah, let's begin the strategy that will help us to spend less time on the reading passage and of course attain maximum marks as well, right? Now the first strategy that I would like to talk about is the strategy that I would like to talk about it. I call it the backward approach. Now what is the backward approach? What did I tell you in the beginning of at the beginning of this video? I told you that we usually tend to Anushka, which is your first exam? English or Hindi? Which is your first exam, Anushka? I mean, I understand you're nervous right now, but which is your first exam? Yeah. So normally we have this tendency to read the passage first and then go to the questions, right? Now the backward approach, what we do in backward approach is we read the questions first. See, please understand, you're not supposed to do PhD in this passage, right? You are not supposed to write a research paper on this passage. You are not supposed to write a big long conclusion of this passage. Nobody is going to interview you on this passage. You're not going to be tested on this passage. But what do you have to do in this passage? You have to understand it in a manner so that you can answer the questions in the most effective manner. And when you answer those questions, answering those questions is the sole objective of reading this passage. Answering the questions is the sole objective of reading this passage. All right, Anushka, no problem. English should not be difficult. Is it difficult? I don't think English should be a problem. When is your exam? On 27th? Or 26th is your exam? So, what do you have to do? Like I was saying, that you have to only focus on getting your answers right from this passage. So, once we read the questions first, we have the questions in our mind. So, our focus is very clear. Our focus is to get the answers for those questions. So, you read the questions first. Yes, you read the questions first so that you have the questions in your mind. And the only purpose because of which you are reading the passage is to get hold of those answers. Okay, so understood the backwards approach? In a nutshell, what do you have to do? In a nutshell, you have to you don't have to read the passage first and then answer the questions. You have to read the questions first and then look for the answers in the reading passage. That is most important. Okay, now the second thing that you will do, so this is in a nutshell, I told you. In a nutshell, this is what you have to do. But what do you have to do in the when you actually attempt it? How do you do it? That is what we are going to focus on now. So first you read the questions and you underline what is being asked. So are you being asked the reason for a specific thing? Are you being asked how does a particular thing take place? Are you being asked some fact related questions? Are you being asked the effect of something, right? We don't know what the passage is all about. See, in this approach, you do not read the passage, right? You do not read the passage at all. So what do? You will go to the questions. You will underline the important aspects of the questions. Now, there are a lot of students who may not be able to tackle all the questions together. Like they may not be able to read as well as register the questions in one go. So in that case, what are you supposed to do? In that case, you take up 2 questions at one time. So because you will not have more than 5-6 questions per passage. Anushka is saying, ma'am, English is not difficult, but but English grammar is in which I make most of my mistakes. Yes. Your exam is on 27th April, darling. It will be. Today is 23rd. So your exam is in the future. So your English exam will be on 27th April or is on 27th April. Okay, Anushka. So Anushka, you can message me on Telegram if you have any issues. Okay. All right. So you take up 2 questions at a time and you underline the important aspects that are being asked in the question. Now, based on what is registered in your head, now go back to the passage and look for the answer. And I'm super sure that within the first 2 paragraphs you will find the answer to your first 2 questions, because that is how they move. All your questions 90% of the time move in a sequential order. So your first question will have answers at the beginning of the passage. Your second, third questions will have answers somewhere in the middle of the passage, and likewise. So I think it should be very clear, right? Read the questions first, underline what is being asked in the question. If you can't tackle all the 5-6 questions given together, if you can't remember all the 5 questions in one go, tackle them 2 questions at one time. Underline what is being asked in those questions, and then go back to the reading passage and look for your answers. Okay. All right. Now let's come to the part. So of course I'm going to help you. I have one reading passage today, and I'm going to help you with the answers. I'm going to tell you how to understand answers for that as well. Okay. Now let's go to the part where they talk about the vocabulary related questions. So they may ask you something to do with synonyms. They may ask you something to do with antonyms. Synonyms are words with similar meanings. Antonyms are opposites. Let me write this down here for children who have any sort of confusion regarding this. Yeah. So synonyms means words with the same meaning, and antonym means opposite words. Okay, all right. So in the vocabulary related questions, they may ask you synonyms, they may ask you antonyms, they may ask you phrasal verbs, they may ask you to replace a certain word with something. So yes, there are a lot of things that they can ask you. Now, how do you tackle that? Once you found out the answers to all the other questions, I mean, leave out the vocabulary related questions, but once you have found out the answer to all the other questions, you read the rest of the passage and you mark the difficult words. So in all probability, you are going to get your questions from these difficult words. See, if the other, so there are two things, right? There are question and answers, the regular question and answers where they may ask you the reason for something, they may ask you the impact of something, they may ask you the influence of something. There may be fact related questions, and then you have the vocabulary related questions. For now, we'll come to that part a little later. For now, what you will do is you will mark those difficult words, as and when you come across those words, you will mark those words. One second. Yeah. So as and when you come across these words, you will mark them. And what are you going to do, after that? That is something that I'm going to take up a little later. Okay, now let's start with understanding how this strategy is used. So I told you, you're not going to read the passage first and then do the questions. You're going to do the question first and then come to the reading passage, right? Now, how will that work? Now, this is a passage that I have taken up. This is one of the CBSE sample papers from which I have taken up this passage. Now, it is about archaeology. Now, I know that this passage is about archaeology. Okay. I have not done anything, but I have just underlined the first word. I am not reading it at all. Now, when I go down and I see the questions that I have written here, the first question is, according to the author, what from the following is the lesson taught by the process of excavation? Now, this seems to be a very weird question to answer, and you may not get the answer. You may think that you will not get the answer from the first paragraph, right? So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We have to we want to know the lesson that is taught by the process of excavation. And then the second one says, select the option that suitably completes the dialogue with reference to the above passage. Now, this question I am going to leave for now. Why? Because this is dialogue completion. This question is specifically dialogue completion. And it says that you have to complete the dialogue suitably depending upon what you have read in the above passage. So until and unless I have given at least one reading, I am not going to touch this question. So this question is left out. Now let's see the next question. The next question says, choose the option that best conveys the message in practically you are wrong. Okay. Now what we'll do is, first let's have a look at the first question so that you understand what I'm trying to tell you. Now, in the first question, it says, what is the lesson taught by excavation? Now, I told you that in the your first one or two questions, you will get at the beginning of the passage. Then in the middle of the passage somewhere, you will find your third or fourth question. And usually the vocabulary related questions come, towards the end. Now, what are we supposed to do? We have to understand the lesson taught by excavation. Okay. We have to understand the lessons taught by excavation. Now, do you see this word anywhere over here? If you scan the paragraph, do you see the word anywhere over here? So there is this word called, what is scanning of the paragraph? A lot of you may not know what is scanning of the paragraph. Scanning of the paragraph is, okay, Rajveer, I'm sure this is you again, or Nomit, this is you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, bache. Yeah, so what is scanning of the paragraphs? Scanning of the paragraph is that when we don't read the entire paragraph, but we are just looking for important information or we are looking for important words. There is a difference. See, skim and scam, there are two, skim and scan, there are two words. Now, when we scan a paragraph, we are looking for important words and important information. We are not looking at it from a perspective of reading the entire paragraph. Now, if the question says, hi Rajveer, good afternoon. Now, if the paragraph says, lessons taught by excavation, then somewhere this word excavation must be there in my paragraph. Yes? If the question says lesson taught by excavation, then somewhere this word should be there, right? Now you see, a lot of times this word is mentioned in this paragraph. Yes? Then here it is also mentioned. So if I now read this, I should be able to get my answer. Now, but my common sense says that it is lessons taught. So maybe I'll have to look for it even in the second paragraph. So this, can you see any word here like excavations? No. So most likely my answer is going to be in the first paragraph itself. Anushka, are you following this? Are you still with me? Anushka, Rajveer, are you still there with me? Because earlier I think there were 4 people, now there are 3. I don't know why. Anushka, can you follow this since you have your exam on 27th? Okay. So while Anushka messages me back, I'm going to continue. Yes. So here, if you read this first line, it says, first it is the poorest of the poor. Only paltry sums are available for excavating, and even less is available for publishing the results and preserving the sites once excavated. Yet archaeologists deal with priceless objects every day. Yes. So the first lesson it teaches us. So what is the first lesson that excavation teaches us? It teaches us that we have to be passionate about our work in a way that even if it is not paying us a lot of money, we can still continue it, right? And then second, he says there is a problem of illegal excavation resulting in museum quality pieces being sold to the highest bidder. So what is the lesson? That this should be stopped. Yes. So how easy was it? You did not go through the entire passage to look for the lesson. In the first paragraph itself, you got your lesson in 2 lessons that were needed. And if you go through the rest of the paragraph, you will eventually come to these 2 conclusions. That first, illegal excavation illegal excavation should be stopped. And second, we must be passionate about our profession, right? We must be able to pursue it. Even when we are not being paid, at times, when we are, at times you may not be paid a lot of money, but we should still continue to do it. Okay? Anushka, Rajveer, have you understood this? I hope it's very simple now. So you didn't have to read the entire passage, but you could take care of it within the first paragraph itself. Okay? Now, the second question, what was it? It was a dialogue related question, if you remember. And the dialogue related question had to be done by actually reading the whole passage. Then you could have come to a conclusion as to how that dialogue could have been completed. So, in such a situation, what you're going to do is then you will have to at least read the whole passage. Otherwise, you will not be able to attempt question number 2. Now, let's look at the next question that we were looking at. Okay. Now again, if you look at this question, which of the following can be said about the people in the profession of archaeology? Again, if you go through the first 2 paragraphs, you will be able to answer this question in no time. If you go through the first paragraph, you will be able to answer this question in no time. Let's have a look at this process. See, so do they acquire knowledge for business purposes? No, this answer is wrong. They don't acquire knowledge for business purposes. Are they smugglers of knowledge? No, they are not smugglers of knowledge. Are they collectors of artifacts? No, they are not collectors, because if they were collectors, then they would have become very rich. If they had the artifacts, they would have sold it off and they would have become very rich. So what are they actually? They are seekers of knowledge. So again, you didn't have to go through the entire passage, understand its meaning, and then attempt this passage. You can simply do it by reading the first two paragraphs itself. That is why reading the questions first is more important. When you read the questions first, you have an idea about what is being asked in the questions, and then because of that, you will be able to answer your questions also. Okay, I didn't have to read the entire passage to answer these two questions. Now let's see the vocab. I think so. Anushka, Rajveer, is this part clear to both of you? Is this part clear to both of you? All right. So, I hope I've made it very clear to the 2-3 people who are watching with me and the people who are going to watch this video that reading your question first becomes very important. Sometimes it is not even important to read the entire passage to be able to answer the questions. Now, if you have 5 questions and you've already been able to answer 2 of them without reading the entire passage, then it's quite okay, right? Because you are going to get full marks out of it anyway. Okay, Rajveer, no problem. We can do this later with you, but right now you don't have any exam, but Anushka has, right? Okay. So, yeah. So, see, if you don't follow this policy, what is going to happen? You have a 2-hour exam, right? Your exam is for 2 hours. You will end up spending at least 1 hour only on reading passage, or at least 45 minutes only for reading passage. So, let's do some maths calculation here. If you have a 2-hour exam, okay? Now, in this 2-hour exam, in this 2-hour exam, let's say you spend 1 hour in reading, in the reading section. Then you are left with 1 more hour to do writing, grammar, as well as literature. Is that fair? I don't think so. Yes? If you do it the normal way that you would be doing it, then in that case, if it is a 2-hour exam, you will get 1 hour for you will use up 1 hour for reading, and then you will have 1 hour for writing, grammar and literature. ठीक है? आपके पास सिर्फ 1 घंटा बचेगा. और आप सोचो that even if you are very good in literature, you may be very good in writing, but if you have so much to do in 1 hour, then there's no point, because you will not be able to write good answers. You will not be able to write effective, answers. You will not be able to attempt the writing task properly so that you may get good marks. You will not be able to do it because your time is very less. Then what happens is, you keep thinking in your head that, oh, only 1 hour is left. You're looking at your watch all the time. You tend to leave out the grammar questions that otherwise would have taken. You would not even have 2 minutes to spend on your each grammar question, because if you would not know the answer, you would simply leave it. It becomes that difficult. If you would not know the answer, you would simply leave it and you would be like, no, I can't do this. I can't spend so much of time in it. So if there was a question that you could do, without hassle, without looking at the watch, then it's better, right? It's much better to attempt your paper when you have more time at hand, rather than doing it in a manner in which you just have to finish the paper, right? So if you do this, if you do your reading passage with this strategy, you will be spending about 30 to 40 minutes on this. So you'll be spending about 30 to 40 minutes on reading, and then you will have at least how much? 1.5 hours for your rest of the section. And if 1.5 hours is a lot to do writing, grammar and literature, because grammar is not going to be huge. It's not going to be a lot. So for writing and literature, you will have enough time. So I hope I've made myself very clear about why this strategy is important. Also, one more thing. Please understand that this strategy will be, you can use, it's not only for class 10th, you can use this strategy for 11th, for 12th, and for any other competitive exam in this country, or even IELTS exam. IELTS is called International English Language Testing System, and this exam is given if you want to go abroad to study or to work. Now in that also you have a reading comprehension. In NDA you have a reading comprehension. CDS exam you have a reading comprehension. Now for Delhi, you know, for admission into the central universities, you have a central university common entrance test. That also has English. So wherever English will be asked, you know, those banking exams that you have IBPS, and you have IBPS, and what's the other one? RBI, SBI. All these exams have a separate English, have a separate English section, and each section of English every section of English is going to have a reading section. Yes, reading is one of the most important skills of any language, and hence you are tested on it. So this backward approach to doing reading passages will help you not only for your class 10th, but it will also help you later on, you know, when in your future classes and your future exams also it's going to help you, right? Now let's come to doing. I don't want to waste a lot of time, since a lot of you have to go and study, revise, rest, whatever. So we'll try and finish effectively so that you understand what needs to be done also, and we don't waste time also. So yeah, now it says, now let's come to the vocabulary related questions that I had left in the beginning. Now let's come to the vocabulary related questions. Okay. Now what happens in the vocabulary related questions? What do you have to do? Now these are the most I think this section is the section in which children are most petrified. They're very scared of this section, because they often feel that they will not be able to answer at all in this section, right? Now what have we done? Let's say you had 5 questions, right? Let's say you had 5 questions, and out of which you have already done 3 out of 5 using the backward approach. Okay, so 3 out of 5 means you have got 60% of your marks in your pocket if you have done those 3 questions out of the 5 questions by using the backward approach. Then rest be assured, 60% of the marks are already secured. Now let's see how you can score maximum marks in the vocabulary related questions. Now there's another disclaimer that I would like to give here. We are talking about students who face difficulty in reading passages. We are talking about students who find English difficult. We are talking about students who are very nervous even before an English exam, right? Because mostly English is considered easy. Even if you don't find it easy, it's fine. I am here talking about those students who have a problem in English or any part of English. If you're good in English, then you continue to do what you're doing, and you may also get full marks in reading passage then. But for the others who do not find English so easy, we are looking at getting maximum marks that we can. See, let's face it, in 4 days you are not going to become champions of the language and manage. If you are not good in English and you haven't studied as much, then let's face it that in 4 days you are not going to become champions that you can get like above 90 in English. That is not going to happen, because we don't rely on hit and trial, right? We rely on strategy. Especially last minute preparation has to be strategy based. You know, how are you going, and what is the strategy? The strategy is to get maximum marks. We are not looking at 100 out of 100. We are looking at the maximum marks that we can get. And I am here with this video, I want to reach out to those students who have a problem in reading passage. Okay. Now in the vocabulary related questions, one thing please understand, the paragraph number will always be mentioned. See, whether it is CBSE or UP board, one second, I'll have a sip of water. Whether it is UP board or CBSE board or any other board in the country, they want you to score marks. They want you to do well in your exam. It's not as if they want you to get low marks. So the paper is designed in a manner that you will get marks. See, it's not your IIT JEE exam or your NEET exam or your NDA exam which is particularly made difficult. It is made in a way that you score. Now in the vocabulary related question, the first and the biggest help that they do is that they give you the paragraph number. Now what is your job? Your job is to focus on this word and in this paragraph. Do not focus anywhere else, because you're not going to find the word and or its meaning or its replacement in any other passage. You are going to find it like for this word, which is, it's here it says, so this is a little tricky question, but not so difficult. I'll make you understand. Here we are talking about the word clandestine, and we are talking about paragraph number 5. Now, if I were you, what would I have done? I know that I have to do something to do with the word clandestine. And in my past experience, I know that either it is a synonym or it is an antonym, something on those lines. What am I going to do? I'm going to go back to paragraph 5 first and try and understand its meaning. Now, if I don't know the meaning of clandestine, I'll get very scared and I'll be like, oh, I can't do this. My advice here is please attempt it, because there's no negative marking in CBSE. So even if you go wrong, it's all right. But you may also go right, which means that you will land up scoring that 1 mark over here. Right? So even if you don't understand, even if you don't know, even if you don't have the time, please attempt, because that is most important. Because there's no negative marking, so make use of it, right? So first what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to paragraph 5. I'm going to stroll up for all of you, and I'm going to just focus on paragraph 5. Now this is paragraph 5 and this is very, very long. And since I have put this here, I know what is written in paragraph 5. Obviously you guys won't know because you have just joined me. So, but what I'm trying to tell you is I'm only going to focus on paragraph 5. Now how do I do it? I'm again going to scan it. See, this is what I'm doing. You can actually read the whole thing also. Now, if I read it here, I can see this word over here, clandestine product. Yeah. So, if I read from, let's start from here. Or let's start from the beginning, okay? Since a lot of you would not understand how to attempt this, let's start from the beginning. It says the basement of museums is simply not large enough to store the artifacts that are likely to be discovered in the future. Okay, understood? There is not enough money even to catalog the finds. So there isn't enough money with the government to even properly keep their findings, right? And then it says, I'm leaving the next line. It says, indeed, with the help of a computer, sold artifacts. Artifacts are small little things that you have in your house for decoration, like a small statue of a Buddha or Ganesh ji or some sort of vase. Those are called as artifacts. Indeed, with the help of a computer, sold artifacts could be more accessible than are the pieces stored in bulging museum basements. Prior to sale meaning before they are even sold, each could be photographed. So that means the artifacts should be photographed, and the list of the purchasers could be maintained on the computer. So you can click, what they are saying is prior to the sale of those artifacts, you can click a picture of those artifacts, and the people who are actually willing to purchase it, their list should be there on the computer. Then and it says it would be unrealistic to suggest that illegal diggings would stop if artifacts were sold in the open market. So it's saying that if you think that you are going to, sell these artifacts through a proper channel, then the illegal diggings would stop. You're sadly mistaken. That's not going to happen. But the demand for clandestine products would be substantially reduced. Now, what can be the meaning of clandestine products? So substantially reduce, and then read on, you will understand what they are saying. Who would want an unmarked pot when another was available whose provenance was known? Provenance means that you know where it came from and how old is it, etc. And that was dated stratigraphically by the professional archaeologists. So clandestine, based on what I'm reading, clandestine something means that is not known, right? Something like a secret. Clandestine means that. Now, I didn't know the meaning of clandestine. How have I understood the meaning of clandestine? I have understood the meaning of clandestine by reading this entire paragraph. So, sometimes, and most of the times actually, you can come across a lot of words and you will not have the help of Google or a dictionary to look at the meaning of the word. You have to understand the meaning of the word from the sentence itself, by understanding the context of the sentence. Through the sentence. Understand the meaning of the words through the sentence. That is, the quickest way to understand the meaning of the words. Now you see, you may not understand it 100%, but you will understand it as much as to attempt that vocabulary question. Now I understood that here clandestine means something that is kept in a secret or something that is not known. Now let's see how will I attempt the question. Now it says select the option with the underlined words that can suitably replace clandestine. So what are they saying? They have given me 5 sentences. 4 sentences. In the 4 sentences, they have marked some words. They are asking me that which of these underlined words can be replaced with clandestine. I hope that is clear. They are asking me that out of the 4 sentences, which are the words that can be replaced by clandestine. So I will go through it. It says, the first one says, result of weeks of public planning now sat hidden. No, public planning is nowhere close to secret and unknown. The proceeds went to fund its justifiably correct war against the Russians. Again, nothing close to secrets and unknown things. There had been some sort of secretly conducted liaison between the lady and the Darrell for some times. So secretly conducted liaison, I can replace here in option C. I just have to mark it. See, so simple. What did I do? I did not know the meaning of the word clandestine. I went back to paragraph 5. What did I do? The first thing that I did was I stayed focused on paragraph 5. Okay. When I stayed focused on paragraph 5, I tried to understand the meaning of the word clandestine by reading the sentences itself. Because there's possibly no way that you can understand when you know the meaning of each and every word in English. Even I would not know, or somebody who has 25 years of teaching experience. It's not possible that they will also know all the meanings of the words of English. And even if they have a very good vocabulary, it's possible that we may forget at that point of time, right? So what do? Mostly we understand the meaning of words by reading them in sentences, and then you come back, read the question. The question said you have which of these underlined words can suitably replace clandestine, and then I knew it was secretly conducted. Very simple. So using these strategies, you will be able to finish your reading passage in about 30 to 40 minutes, and then you will have about 1.5 hours, 1 hour, 20 minutes to finish the rest of your exam. So there will be no problem at all as far as reading passage is concerned. What are you doing in reading passage? You are investing in the least amount of time, getting the maximum marks. In vocabulary, where the chances of losing marks are highest, even if I don't know the answer, even if I feel I'm wasting my time, whatever it may be, we are going to attempt these questions because they are ready they are not ready marks, because there is no negative marking in CBSE. If there is no negative marking in CBSE, that means that I may choose the correct option, but there is also a likely possibility that I may choose the correct option also. It can go either way. जिसको हम हिंदी में तुक्का बोलते हैं, it's called hit and trial in English. So my hit and trial, my trial and error can go correct also, can be right also, and it can be wrong also. But because there is no negative marking, I must attempt it, because it can be right as well. And if it goes wrong, I'm not losing marks, right? So I hope with that, you will be able to attempt your reading passage quite well. Yeah. So I hope you will be able to do this passage. You will be able to, you will be able to do not only this passage, but you will also be able to do your passages very easily in your board exam. You will not get nervous about it. And we come to the video for today. We come to the end of the video for today, and I will see you on Monday at 12:30 with the revision of literature. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Anushka, Rajveer. Thank you so much. And Anushka, if you have any doubts, please connect with me on Telegram. The other thing is that, yes, before you go, Anushka, Rajveer, please like this video. And if you like it a lot, then you can, and if you find it helpful, you can obviously send it to your friends also. Yeah, and before leaving, please subscribe to the Safalta channel on YouTube and press the bell icon also so that you get our regular updates. Okay? Thank you so much, and I will see you at 12:30 on Monday with the revision of literature. All right. Bye bye.